Good morning, everyone. I'm going to do a little news commentary here about President Trump and his tweets about liberal Democrats. I enjoy the news. I read CNN on a daily basis, and I enjoy following the news, so I figured I would go ahead and do a little political commentary on this. President Trump tweeted that talking about these liberal Democrats, that they should go back where they came from, and if they don't love America, then they should leave. One of these individuals is a Muslim, and she's talked pretty bad about the United States, and but nevertheless, she was elected to Congress, and all of these ladies have been elected to Congress, and they're liberal Democrats, and they have a very liberal agenda. It's one young lady right here. She's very popular, and she's very outspoken. This is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and she is really well liked, and a lot of people really follow her, and she's supposedly the new face of the liberal Democratic party, and she's gonna, if she stays around, she's gonna make some news in the future. She's already made a lot of news. She's very, very young, not old enough to be president, but she's very young, and she's very outspoken, and people listen to what she has to say. Now, I'd like to say this, that President Trump, when he tweets, he perhaps, in my opinion, he tweets a little bit too much. I think a president should be very conservative in what they say, and they should really, before they come out and tweet things, or come out with in news media, or give news interviews and talk about things and make statements, I think they should really run this through their people to find out whether or not it's a good thing for them to do. I think President Trump really, really means well, and he really has the intent of doing good things for the United States, and he's really trying to help the country. However, having said that, he is a very conservative Republican, and he has made a lot of money. He's a business person, and there's definitely a difference between running a business like his real estate business and running the country. A lot of these politicians, I don't care how much money they have, they could be really poor. They have a voice, and they will be heard, and the news organizations, when they want to have a news conference or something, the news organizations will cover them. And just because President Trump has a lot of money and he's a billionaire, he cannot silence these ladies. And I'm really proud of the fact that I live in a country where you can have young ladies like this speak their mind. I don't agree with a lot of the things that they say, but I would not like to give them a whole lot of power for their agendas and what they want to do. But by the same token, I don't want to give President Trump a lot of power and the Republicans a lot of power, even though I am a conservative, and I believe that people need to work, and I don't believe in a bunch of giveaway welfare and lot of other programs. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in socialism. I believe in capitalism, and I believe in democracy. But I do think that both sides need to be heard, and I don't believe that any one particular side should be given a lot of political power. There needs to be a balance. And even though I'm conservative, I would hate to see the conservatives be able to run their own agenda, because if that were to happen, then we would have slave labor. The only people that would prosper would be the rich people, and it would be the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and labor unions would be outlawed. Companies like Walmart and other companies which have way too much power now and which misuse workers in the workforce, work them part-time instead of giving them full-time jobs. Walmart, McDonald's, and a lot of other corporations are famous for that, and that should be outlawed, in my opinion. So conservatives have a lot of power, and they have put a lot of things in place that I don't necessarily agree with. But by the same tokens, the Democrats have let that happen. And this thing with Walmart hiring people part-time and McDonald's hiring people part-time, Burger King and all these other organizations hiring people part-time and not giving them full-time jobs. So people don't get benefits, health benefits, or they don't get vacations, and they don't have full-time jobs. That to me is horrible. But by the same tokens, the Democrats have let that happen. And the fact of the matter is that money talks. And even though a lot of these liberal Democrats, even they talk a bunch of what I consider to be crap and socialistic type agendas, they need support and they need money to win elections. And the bottom line is a lot of them are getting monies from these corporations, even though they're talking a liberal type agenda. So money talks. I don't see a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of change taking place, even though they talk all this liberal talk. It's still yet going to be the corporations and the various type organizations that's going to be supporting them. So anyway, this is what the news said. Republicans represent almost none of the places that most immigrants live. And that's true. Most of the big cities, which is where most of the people live, are not represented by Republicans. They're Democratic strongholds, and the reason being is you have a lot of people in there. You have a lot of people a lot of immigrants. You have a lot of people that rely on welfare and social programs that live in these big cities. And these big cities are just Democratic strongholds. Ocasio-Cortez fires back at Trump's, cites sexual assault allegations. They're just fighting back and forth, and they're both making headlines for themselves, and that's good for Trump, and that's good for her also. Trump says he's not a racist, but Don Lemon has the receipts. Don Lemon, he's just a news person, and he, like a lot of other news people, Anderson Cooper and a lot of the others, that's the way they make their living, is talking about these politicians and talking about the news. So I think Don Lemon just is trying to make a name for himself and trying to talk crap. Which GOP lawmakers have condemned Trump's tweet? If any of them have condemned Trump's tweet, they're stupid. The GOP should right now be concerned about getting Trump reelected. Trump is the incumbent. Trump has the advantage. Democrats, what's going to happen is they're going to tear each other apart. And that's one reason why the incumbent always has the advantage, is because the other side has several different people fighting for the nomination, and they just tear each other apart. And I think this very well may be what's going to happen this election. I predict that Trump will win because the Democrats are not going to be able to get their stuff together, and you're going to have the Democrats tear each other apart, and maybe one of them will run as an independent if they don't get the nomination, and they're going to split the vote, and Trump's going to win. Author says that Trump's tweets are microcosm of GOP takeover. I don't think the GOP is going to take over. I think Congress is going to remain divided, and it needs to remain divided. Worst thing that could happen would be to have the Democrats take over or the Republicans take over. We need a split in order. Otherwise, if one or the other takes over, then they're going to push their agenda, and it's really, really going to hurt the country. Most moderate GOP voices on immigration were wiped out in the 2018 Democratic wave. And I kind of agree with that to a certain extent. There was a lot of Republicans that lost out, but I think there's still some moderate GOP voices. That time Graham called Trump a race-baiting bigot. There's going to be some dissent within the Republican Party, and there's also going to be some dissent within the Democratic Party, and it's a good thing. But once again, going back up to the headline here and talking about these ladies, they're going to run their mouth, ain't no question about it. They have various political agendas that they're trying to put forward. And one of these days, one of these ladies may run for president. Alexandria Cortez there, they call her AOC. She's very popular, she's very outspoken, and she's really well liked, and people listen to her, and she gets a lot of headlines. She very well one day could be a political contender for president. As a matter of fact, someone could pick her up here in the next, this time around as a vice presidential candidate, even though she's not old enough to be president. I'm not sure what it says about being vice president, but she may, down the road here, become a president for candidate for president. Who knows? Maybe 4 years from now, maybe 8 years from now. Not really sure. But anyway, that's my political commentary for today. Thanks a lot, and you folks have a nice day. And if you like my political commentaries and all my other YouTube postings, please subscribe. I certainly would appreciate it. Thanks.